Hi, ladies and gentlemen, it's another Daily Gab. So, how are we? Hope we are doing well. So far, everything's been fine. Other than, for some reason, society energy feels very tense, restrictive, angst, I guess would be the word for it. Feels very stressed, and I'm honestly not sure why. Haven't a clue. I'm trying to get my water out. Get the hell out. Jesus. Yeah, I sometimes cuss at my lunchbox. But for some reason, the energy in the air is tense, anxious, stressed. But it's up to us not to let it, not to let it get to us. Because if you let every little thing, like the energy in the air, to little things not working out for you, like let's say you couldn't find socks today, or things aren't the way you want it. You didn't start your morning the way you wanted to. I mean, it happens. So, sorry. So I've been trying to make preparations for the expo. Get myself right, because the one thing I always try to do is get an aura reading every time I go there. Now, I woke up this morning knowing exactly what I was going to talk about, knowing exactly what I was going to say. What I was going to talk about on Daily Gab, but the thing is, fate, the divine, has other plans for us, or they just don't want us to talk about a certain thing because other people are not ready. Which is totally legit. Because I'll never forget that I tried to tell somebody, I tried to tell someone really close to me, like, hey, something major is gonna happen. You've got to keep your eyes and ears open for it. And they're like, okay, I will. And they just kept doing the same thing. Going on like nothing was going on, nothing was gonna happen. And I'm just sitting here like, you're getting faster to where you don't want to be. And then, they're like, okay. I told them exactly how to avoid it. Told them exactly how to try to deal with the situation, but then they still, it was like a train wreck. You couldn't look away for some reason. And the thing is, the problem is, now they look back at it and you're like, you know what, I just wasn't ready to totally get what you were saying to me. And I'm just like, hey, dude, it's okay. It happens. Like like being someone with the ability that I have, it's like this. You can tell when someone is, there's a good chance that a relationship with a person is going to make it. You can tell. You can tell by the energies. You can tell by the je ne sais quoi, the vibe. It's that click. Some people click. Other people, they just want to click so badly that they try to make it something. And when it was actually, that person wasn't meant to be. That person was just meant to be a lesson. Some people are in your life just to contribute to your lesson or to contribute to your strength. It may be a painful lesson, but it's a lesson nonetheless. Sometimes we're just meant to visit people's lives, or we could be a lesson. We could be a lesson to somebody. I lost count how many people that I thought I was going to be steadfast friends with, only for them to just pass through. Or they were in my life for a good little while, a couple years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Only for them to not be here with me right now anymore. Not because they, not because anything bad happened to them, but because they outgrew me or I outgrew them. It happens. I don't want people to feel obligated to be in my life. And I don't want other people to make me feel obligated that I have to be in theirs. I mean, that's how things are. Some people, you care about them so much and you love them so much that you hold on to them for dear life. Only for them to just wiggle free. And it hurts. It does, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot from them. They were just different steps that I needed to take. One friend I met through a very horrible situation. I had a guy friend, and he was dating this girl. Me and this girl were good friends. I liked her. She was pretty cool. Really nice. Really caring. She was looking for, like, the real deal in this guy. I didn't have the heart to tell her that things were gonna not work out. But when he told her that I did tarot readings, I did. And I'll never forget that I told her, there's going to be changes. Changes in your life. A lot of changes. I was trying to basically do blink twice if you need help kind of thing. Or blink twice if you're in danger kind of thing. But I tried to give her a heads up. I made it a point to try to be around her as much as I could because I was afraid of what he would do. I had that feeling. Even though I grew up with him, even though I knew him, there was something underlying inside of him that was pretty dark. Predatorial kind of feeling. Turns out, when the many times I've been visiting my home, he took, at the time I was taking Ambien to go to sleep because I had pretty bad PTSD and sleep insomnia, night terrors, if you will, from something that happened to me, gosh, a year ago from that. Not this year, but a year ago from this time frame that I'm talking about. Oh God, He put Ambien in our alcoholic drinks. I got drunker than I should. She passed out. Yeah, she passed out. I tried waking her up, be like, "Hey, you okay? Hey, I was drunk too." But I have a high resistance towards alcohol and medicine and all kinds of stuff. I can get used to a medicine. I can get used to an alcohol. I can get used to a lot. And thing is, I was kind of out of it. But it was enough, I was able to move. He picked me up. He was a big guy. And at the time I was very, very skinny and petite. And I trusted him. So, I trusted him. He was a friend. I grew up with him. I mean, he was like a brother to me. You could probably understand. Because I was saying, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom. And, took me to the bathroom, and, after I sat there, I mean, I noticed he was there, but his back was turned. And, yeah, he took advantage of my trust, my sense of being right at that moment. Yeah. And she was downstairs. He was supposed to be dating her. She walked in when I was getting dressed, and I'm just like, I didn't know how to explain it. He was just doing all the talking. But a few days after that, she came to my home. She said, "I know what happened, but I want to hear what you said. I want to hear what happened to you." And I told her, I said, I didn't want that. So, people are lessons. That's how I handle it. From the worst situations to the best situations, people are lessons. Me and her became good friends, and I sat her down and I told her everything about him. I said, I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to come across as a jealous person. I did look at him as like a brother, and he took advantage of that. It's no one's fault when you trust somebody. It's not anyone's fault. Like, it wasn't my fault for growing up with him and trusting him, thinking he was a decent person. Do I still feel a little betrayed about it? Yeah. Oh yeah, you bet I do. But I forgive him of his weakness. I forgive him for his weakness. He has to be the one to be able to sleep at night and deal with it. Can I recover? Yeah, I already have recovered. Mainly because I trusted him. And it's a terrible thing to break. Like, for instance, I had a teacher that told me about, that taught us about the truth about apologies. Especially if you mean it or you don't mean it. This teacher had a plate. Nice, beautiful, like, china plate. Real intricate, real pretty. It looked like it cost a lot. She said, "Do you see this plate?" And everyone was like, "Yeah. Yeah, we see it. It's beautiful." Most people asked about where it came from, or where did she get it, or some people knew some things about the, it was, what was it, Blue Willow? It's the brand of the plate. And then she said, "Okay." She said, "It's really beautiful, right? Just like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. It's remarkable. It's beautiful." And then she said, "Think about the most meanest thing you've ever done to somebody or said to somebody." And then she said, "Raise your hand when you have that thought in your head, remembering it." So, you know, she waited until everyone raised their hand, everything, and then she just dropped that plate. She basically slammed that plate on the floor. It shattered into tiny little pieces. And then she said, "Say you're sorry to it." And then a lot of people just apprehensively said, "I'm sorry." She said, "Look at the plate, still in pieces." "I'm sorry's not really putting it back together, is it? Damage done." I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that's a brutal lesson. And you know what? That year was the best year of my life in school, because a lot of people watched what they did and were careful with what they said to people. I realized why that teacher did what she did, because turns out there was a student that attempted suicide because of bullying. Once the damage is done, damage is done. You've got to be careful in what you say, because you don't know what people are going through. Like, if someone trusts you, when people trust you, that is something that comes from the heart. It comes from the heart. And once you break that, it's sometimes impossible to regain. You have to be very careful with how you treat people, because you don't know what they're dealing with. Your words, your actions could be the very straw that breaks their camel's back. So, oh man. People, regardless of the situation, are lessons. Hard lessons, maybe easy lessons, delightful lessons. Heck, obvious lessons. Lessons nonetheless, no matter how you color it, no matter how you look at it. My most valuable lesson was, oh hell no. Nope, 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 nope. There's a bee coming in here. Big bumblebee. I think I'm safe. I know that reaction was kind of what? I'm like, oh hell no. That's how I am with anything like a certain bug that can cause a problem. Because, you know, the bee population isn't doing so hot, and I don't want to contribute to any sort of bee decretion. So, better safe to ward it away than having to kill it. I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah. Ah, my elbow. So, lessons. People are definitely just that. I'm just playing with my charms. I think they're pretty. One of my hardest lessons was about love. I had trouble discerning infatuation. I fell in love with somebody at the age of, I want to say, I want to say 12. I know, a really young age, right? But it wasn't love. It was infatuation. I mean, I've dated a lot of beautiful people. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I dated a lot of beautiful people. A lot of beautiful guys. They were only after one thing. I was after love. And yet, I can't tell you how many times I've fallen in love with somebody and I cry and get depressed, and it was an endless cycle. I had a lot of people tell me that, you know, it wasn't real. So the best thing to do is you learn to love yourself, and when you learn to love yourself, the real stuff actually happens. So, with that being said, you have to learn what it is. You have to learn what it feels like. When you learn to finally love yourself for all your quirks, all the imperfections, because there's no such thing as perfection, you learn what love is. You learn what it is, what truly is. When you stop judging yourself, you're able to not judge other people and have a high standard on other people. Because we can have our ideas. You can fall in love with an idea quicker than you can fall in love with an actual person. Because you'll end up falling in love with the idea before the person. When you realize that person's not what you thought they were, then you realize, oh, this is on me. It's gonna hurt because it's reality. So the best way I can say is you learn to love yourself. Get to know yourself, who you are, what you like, what makes you you. Be yourself. And then when you finally come at peace with that, you're able to love somebody, and somebody will come along and love you for you. I've been in relationships where a guy had this idea about me. Tried to mold me, make me into what he wanted me to be. And when I wasn't adding up to his expectations, I got kicked out. Harshly. I was used. Here I was giving him wife material, and he didn't even want that. He kept telling me he was going to marry me on at the time, June 31st. Turns out he did finally buy wedding rings, but they weren't for me. He bought wedding rings, and they weren't for me. I found out the hard way. He looked for every reason possible to use them to... He's like, if you behave yourself, I'll marry you. I was so naive. I learned my lesson. I truly did. When it didn't work out with the person he was talking to behind my back, he contacted me. And I flat out told him, my life is better. I don't want to go back to you. I found somebody else. And that somebody else is now my husband. He took me from nothing and built me into who I am right now. I wasn't driving and didn't have a job, and I had depression issues. I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't know how to be myself. He gave me freedom, and he gave me all the tools I needed just to see what I'd do with it. And I learned to drive. I learned how to work. I learned how to survive. I flourished. I'm okay with being alone. I have freedom and real love. He dealt with me being scared shitless. He said, I want to get you a cell phone. He said, I can sign you onto my plan. And I'm just like, I thought it was a way of oppressing me and everything, because that was what the other guy did. And poor guy, he was patient enough and kind enough to endure and show me, hey, it's okay to trust me. I'm not going to hurt you. Just don't hurt me. He was just as scared as I was, and he was taking all the steps. I was usually the one forcing the steps on people. And he just was like, oh, relationships are teamwork. Let's work at this together. Biggest lesson in my life was to trust and truly love myself. He taught me how. I may talk about how enlightened I am and how awoken and all that and my self-discovery, but all the thanks really goes to the man that's in my life, really. At first I was like naive and immature. Now I'm an adult. Even though I refuse to grow up, I still play video games. And I do thoroughly enjoy playing with Play-Doh. I mean, just because you're an adult doesn't mean that you have to, you know, throw away all childish crap. I am me, and I love me. I guarantee you that when you figure out how to love yourself for who you are, you'll be fine. You will be okay. So, that concludes the Daily Gab. Ah, there it is. Ever since I started growing my hair out, I find a hair in my eye. So that concludes the Daily Gab, ladies and gentlemen. I wish we all have a really good day today. I wish we all have a really good day today. I wish we all have a really good day today. Some of you know what that means when I do it 3 times like that. So, believe in yourself.